What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Thanks to everybody who hung out last night. We did an impromptu nightcap with Scone. I brought it back for a night considering the Myles Brennan news and getting close to football season, and it was good to do a nightcap again. But this is crazy. They're ducks. There's like this whole family of ducks walking right by my window. I mean, less than 10 feet away. Anyway, let's see. All right, we are going to say some good mornings. So big news, obviously, Myles Brennan no longer with the LSU football program. A lot of people have asked, is Myles going to transfer? Is he going to go try to play in the XFL or the USFL? No. Myles Brennan's football career is over. I think, as I said on AFR, Myles, football is a part of Myles' life. Football isn't his whole life. Never has been. So, a guy who at this point, he's been around 5 years, he's been through 2 serious injuries, circumstantially left, came back, and now you're at a point where he realizes he's not going to be the guy, and so he's engaged. He's going to move on with his life, and you wish him well. So that it clears the room a little bit. Nussmeier, Daniels, Nussmeier, whichever way it goes. It's not surprising. We've talked about it for months here now that was likely going to be the case because that's what this coaching staff wants. They want a quarterback that's mobile, that can move the pocket, et cetera, et cetera. They scrimmage tomorrow in Tiger Stadium. Media is allowed to watch the entire scrimmage. So we will see what comes of it, and we will certainly have a much better idea after that scrimmage who seems to have the lead, or if there is a definitive starter at quarterback. All right, let's say some good mornings, see what y'all got. Kelly Gross, Quentin Brakebill, Truax, what's good? Lowell Cormier, Roland Guitro, Matt Godwin, Rayaz Bradley, good morning. Matthew Gardner, nightcap was, thank you, Matthew, appreciate you watching. Everyone who did watch, we ended up doing a 2-hour show last night. After doing Morning Scone, LSU Daily, recorded Rosters to Riches, went to football practice, did a 3-hour AFR, and then came home and did a 2-hour nightcap. I talked a lot yesterday. Let's see, Lowell Cormier. Oh, sorry, there already. Brant Roban, Morning Scone, Camara may be good to go. Yeah, so we talked about that on Friday, Brant. There was a report from Michael Balco. Don't know who he is, but he's got a blue check mark on Twitter. Reported that Kamara's punishment was likely to come in 23 instead of 22. I said, okay, hope it's true. Would feel much better if I saw it from Schefter, Rappaport, Nick Underhill, et cetera. And then Schefter reported it yesterday. So hat to Michael Balco for having it first, whoever you are. And it does look that way. It makes me feel a lot better about the running back position for the Saints this year because they have been pretty active in free agency, trying to find a run back. I mean, they made a play for Sony Michel. We talked about a lot of the guys. They brought in running backs, worked them out, and I would feel much better if I know Kamara is there for the whole season. Because a big part of that was if you're going to miss Kamara for 6 games, do you trust Mark Ingram and at UDFA to carry your running game? And I don't. So if Kamara is there for the entirety of the season, I feel much better about it. Okay. Tim Gotro, what's up? Wendell Norman, Larry Garner, Trivia Carter, wrap in batches. What are your thoughts on the tight end position for our Tigers? Very thin. You got Cole Taylor, who's basically his greatest career accomplishment is having his shoe thrown. You've got Nick Storrs, who was a medical retirement, who is now taking like first team reps. You've got Jack Mashburn, who's a former high school quarterback who walked on at LSU, and then you got Mason Taylor, the freshman. I think in time, Mason Taylor is going to be a really good player. And Brian Kelly last week said Mason Taylor is one of the most pleasant surprises of camp, and that he's going to play significant for them. But I think the fact that he's going to play significant snaps speaks to how thin that position is. Mountain Dew, good morning. Mark Allen checking to see if NC State has a powerhouse. Yeah, at the end of nightcap last night, we went off the rails. I don't know if somebody was trolling or if it was just like an NC State fan who jumped in the chat, but he kept saying like NC State was going to be in the playoffs and they're a powerhouse and yada yada. So then to start being like, hey, Rutgers is a powerhouse, and anyway. Brad David, good morning. Hoping Myles' career would end like Matt Flynn's, but that's not reality. Yep. Actually used that example exactly on AFR yesterday. That's the exception. That's not the rule. You finally get your chance to start after 5 years and you win a national championship. That just doesn't happen very often, and that's why most guys transfer. Sean Comiskey, good morning. Really nice opening to AFR yesterday. You really did Myles right by that. I forgot he had played an entire game with a torn up stomach. Yep. Yeah, if y'all missed it, it's up on my show open. You can go watch it on the Watch ESPN YouTube or up on the AFR LSU YouTube channel. It's my full 15-minute thoughts on Brennan. Why now, timing, Brennan himself, future of quarterback at LSU, all that sort of stuff. Let's see, I miss Nightcap. Do you do that every Monday? No, Brad. So in quarantine, I started doing Nightcap. So Wednesdays in whiskey communities known as Whiskey Wednesday. So on Wednesdays during quarantine, when we put Drew to bed, I'd fire up a live stream because, everyone was at home and nobody was doing anything. And I would just stay on as long as people asked questions, and we chatted, hung out, whatever. And we continued it after quarantine at the request of a lot of people who enjoyed the show. And that I did it up until about a few months back when we started Scone and Tea live on locations, because we do that on Wednesdays. So I can't do AFR, then Scone and Tea, then come home and do Nightcap. I do have to see my family at some point. But no, yesterday was kind of a one-off. Weston Weaver, Josh Blackman. Let's see, WWL posted an article by Christian Garrick saying Brennan didn't quit on LSU, but LSU quit on him. Says Brian Kelly promised him the starting job. I don't believe that. Yeah, so here's the thing. My guess is, but I'm guessing, my guess is Christian, and Christian broke the news yesterday about Brennan, and so that tells you he got it from one of two places. He either got it from LSU or he got it from Brennan. So my guess is he got it from Brennan's dad. And so what you have there is a one-sided report, and so to be clear, I like Christian personally. That is one of my pet peeves in our industry today, is that you have people that aren't trained journalists trying to break news, because in that situation, to publish that without actually speaking to LSU and giving them a chance to rebut is careless. Especially if you anonymously source something. Like if he had actually sourced it saying this person's name, Myles, that whoever says Brennan was promised to start a job, then it's just hearsay and it's unfounded. So I actually don't have a lot of respect for that. That's actually a very shoddy job. If what you say is true, I didn't read, but if what you say is true, and no, from what I understand, Brian Kelly did not promise Myles Brennan the job. If you remember, Myles left, Brian Kelly was hired, then Max Johnson left. Remember, Max was the incumbent. So then Max Johnson left, and Nussmeier was the only scholarship quarterback. So Kelly talked to Brennan and said, hey, look, you're going to have to compete for a job wherever you go. Why not just compete for it here? And I'll tell you, the interest in Myles was not robust. As far as I know, the only Power 5 that had interest was Nebraska. And that wasn't a guarantee, hey, come and start. It was, you can come and compete. He had group of 5 interest, but I don't think that interested him. So, I mean, what you have there is one side of the story without any opportunity for the other side to rebut or clarify, and I'm guessing it's not sourced. So I just that's the unfortunate part about our industry today is you have people that do not have a journalistic background thinking they're Woodward and Bernstein. Sean Comiskey, how do you keep your voice in check? Any special herbs or lots of whiskey? Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe it's just a lot of practice. So the muscles or the vocal cords are strong. Eric Waterrider, morning Matt. I know you've always believed all 3 quarterbacks will play at some point this year. Do you think the same train of thought applies to Howard? No, I hope not. I mean, Eric, the only way Walker plays now, I would say, is if there's injury, and boy, I sure hope that's not the case. Pat Huseman, if Brennan put time and heart into it, I think Joey B could petition to get into Bengals org as practice squad. The fish and ducks will always be there. Football is a very small opportunity. But Pat, you're missing the point. You have to want to do it. You don't want to do it. And that's okay. I'll tell you all right. When I don't want this to sound so like glory days bullcrap. When I finished high school, I had some very small offers to play, like not in any way significant. And I didn't want to go play small-time football. I love the game of football, but I wanted to go to college and have a college experience, and I didn't want to go spend 4 years playing in front of high school crowds. You know what I mean? Like, I was okay being done. Now, it's a completely different phase of life, but Myles is okay being done. Like, that's what I think too many of you don't understand. Not every guy has the burning desire to go be a 15-year NFL vet. Not every guy wants to just hang on to the practice squad to collect a check or try to make a team. Like, not everybody wants to do that. Like, at some point it ends for everybody, and it's over for Myles, and that's okay. He's okay with it being over. Like, you can't want it for him. Brad David, I know he battled injuries, but why did Myles not develop after so much time in the program? I'm not going to say he didn't develop. What's to say he didn't develop? I mean, he was starting in 2020. He missed, after 3 games, missed the rest of the season, was set to compete for the starting job last year, got injured, hurt the whole season. Now, if you're saying, why didn't he develop? Like, why wouldn't he be the guy now? Well, if you're Brian Kelly, you get paid $100 million, you're coming in, your duty isn't to Myles Brennan, it's to LSU. So you got to get the best quarterback room possible. You have an opportunity to get a guy in Jane Daniels who started 30 games to add another body to your quarterback room after Max Johnson transferred, and he instantly becomes your most experienced, most veteran quarterback. Black and gold Super Bowl. Ryan Pike, when you play the audio from Brian Kelly's presser, you don't play the question being asked. Is that like some legalese? I don't know about it. Or not worth it. Yeah, it's just not worth the time. And honestly, Ryan, I don't cut the audio. Our producers need to do a better job of starting with the bite and not starting with. So, for example, usually, let's say I ask a question. I say, Coach, do you think you'll play 2 tight ends? The answer might be, yeah, we might. I'm sure there's formations where we'll do that. We like the guys we have, yeah. Well, like, if I don't know the question and how to set it up, then the first part is lost on the audience. So you have to cut to the bite where he starts talking about a player specifically, the thing that's interesting anyway. But no, it's not a legalese. It's just not worth the time. It's about making it more concise. Matt Lusto, good morning. Y'all smash the like button. If you're there on YouTube, please subscribe up to the YouTube channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Like the Matt Scone page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You need an orthopedist, you know the drill. Go to Brock. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Barry Day, Courtney Storer, wishing Myles the best, hoping it was his year. Most people were. Kerry Hughes, good morning. Shirt game is fire day. Yeah, man. Little Mizzen and Main. I love that brand. My favorite brand. First got a Mizzen and Main shirt at Carriage's years ago, and Erica buys a lot of stuff for me on their website. So this, I actually got for my birthday some Mizzen and Main gift cards. So I got some new shirts. So thanks, man. Thanks for noticing. I love it. Ryan Amanda Guidry, good morning. Great nightcap last night. Thank you so much for watching. Bubba Tatum, Ben Dupuy, saw you on Crane Company. Good stuff. Are they a Bama Auburn show? No, so Jake Crane was actually a college football coach. He coached at South Alabama and then was at Montana. Started doing a podcast. So Jake's dad, Jake and Blaine, their dad played at Auburn. So admittedly, Auburn people, but doing a podcast, started getting a lot of traction. Cowherd hired them to be sort of their SEC show on his, I think, Volume Sports is Cowherd's deal. I think signed like a 6-month contract. And then when the 6 months was up, they gained a lot more traction. And then the Daily Wire hired him to do like a national sports show. So they live in Nashville. They were in Atlanta. They live in Nashville now. And they do a sort of a national sports show for that site or that platform. Jerry Mortimer, even though it was a spur of the moment, it was nice to have nightcap again, just like old times. Good to see you there, Jerry. Thanks for hanging out. Jason Horn, Bill Schmid, Craig Straub, morning, Matt. Shout out to Myles Brennan. Thanks for being a Tiger. Good luck in your endeavors now that it's over. Barry Day, wish Myles the best. Hope it was his time to shine. Moving on in life. God bless. Next man up. That's about it, man. That should be the reaction, Barry, that every LSU fan has today. Brian Wynn, Stephen Fry, Jason Austin. Can't believe I missed nightcap. Yeah, man, it was impromptu. I didn't give anybody any warning. I just fired it up. Rashad Bolden, morning, Matt. The ascension of Garrett Nussmeier is a great thing. It lets you know he took the whole offseason to get better and his status in the QB room. I could buy that, Rashad. Yeah. I mentioned it a lot on nightcap last night, but you got to remember, we saw Garrett play extensively in one game last year. It was against Arkansas, and he was not good. So, is he at a point where he's competing to start out of necessity, lack options, or because he's really gotten that much better? We'll find out in short order. But, yeah, I mean, players are allowed to get better, and hopefully he did. Kamara and Ingram should be great now that we have both on board. I hope so, Craig. I'm more skeptical on Ingram. I just don't know how much he has left in the tank. Let's see. The Saints sent, he signed as a free agent in Baltimore in 2019. He had a great year. He ran for 1,018 yards. He's only had 3,000-yard seasons in his career. So he ran for 1,018 yards, averaged 5 yards a carry, which at that point was the second highest of his career. But since then, he went 4.2 yards per carry in 2020 with Baltimore and saw his production drop dramatically. And then Baltimore let him go. He goes to Houston, where he started 7 games last year and averaged 3 yards a carry. And then he came to New Orleans and averaged 3.8 yards a carry. Just ran for 260 yards. I mean, we all know that. We know the drill. I mean, Ingram is the Saints' all-time leading rusher. It's awesome. He's also a 30-year-old running back. We know what happens with running backs when they get to 30. So I don't think you can bank on Mark Ingram, Brian Broom, are you going to the practice Saturday? Yeah, plan to. Sam Dixon, I think Myles decided that his last rodeo after having second thoughts on transferring out when the new staff came in. I believe he decided, here's where I started, here's where I'll finish. No, I mean, Sam, I'm telling you what happened, brother. Like, LSU had an incumbent in Max Johnson. When Max left, Nussmeier was the only quarterback. So it was a very wide open door for Brennan to come back and start at the place where he'd been all along. And then they added Jaden Daniels. When they added Jaden Daniels, that's when he should have known and the writing was on the wall. Matt French, what did you win in the Screw Cancer raffle? Yeah, I won a 4-gate, so I'm probably going to go pick that up after AFR today. Chase Pellegrin, Brian Penton, good morning. Lowell Cormier, I'm with Brennan on this. Fishing and hanging out in the Bass Pro Shop is a good thing. Chase Pellegrin, I see both sides of it for Myles. Y'all have got to get off the man's back. He wants to enjoy his last year of college, enjoy fall, not having to be at practice every day, enjoy his engagement. It's his life, his decision, let him enjoy it. That's where he is, man. Pizzolato GL, quick rule clarification. Could Myles go into the portal or not since he went in earlier? Yes, well, you got to keep in mind, he's a graduate. So as a graduate transfer, he could leave and go somewhere immediately and play. Even this late in the process. The portal window wouldn't apply because he's a graduate. The example I keep giving is Justin McMillan. McMillan in 2018 did that. Remember, he went through a couple of weeks of fall camp and then transferred to Tulane and played for Tulane that year. As long as it's before the season starts. Jamie Leday, Dale Broussard had to watch a replay of Nightcap this morning since I go to sleep at the same time as Drew. Thanks for watching, Dale. I appreciate you, man. Hey, Dad, good morning. Parents are in Seattle. All right. Got off the boat. Parents were on a week-long Alaskan cruise. So they cruised out of Seattle, so now they're back in Seattle to fly home Tuesday. Tomorrow, right? Are you flying today or tomorrow? Fly home tomorrow. Got to Seattle today, I'll fly home tomorrow, right? Barry Day, should the Saints get a number 2 running back, or is he on the roster? Good question. I think they should get another running back. Mark should have gone to Southern Miss like he planned 6 months ago. That's the thing, Mark. Like, and I know you're a Southern Miss guy. He didn't want to play at a small school. He didn't want to play in front of friends and family at a place like Southern Miss, and that's okay. Like, Southern Miss is a fine program, and it's good for some people, but he didn't want to go play at Southern Miss. Okay. He wanted to go play major college football, and that offer wasn't there for him. Nightcap was comedy gold last night. Vernell Thomas, good morning, Scone. What do I feel like we dropped the ball with Quan Alexander? You know, Vernell, I don't know that I could say that honestly, man. Sean Payton, I know he's not here anymore, but you got to keep in mind Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis are both all associated. You know, it's a Bill Parcells line that you'd rather get rid of a player a year too early than a year too late. They did that with Darren Sproles. That's one of the ones where they kind of messed up, right? Where Sproles had some left in the tank. But you'd rather get rid of a player a year too early than a year too late. And that's Mark Ingram was a great example of that. Quan couldn't stay healthy, man. And you used a second-round pick on Pete Werner, and he played well last year. So now you give Pete Werner that you give him the dance floor. Let's see if he can be that guy next to Mario. I'm actually okay with it, and I'll point it out again that if Quan hadn't gone to LSU, I don't think Saints fans would be as emotional about that decision. If you really just objectively think about a guy that's a good player but always hurt, like you wouldn't be so bullish on that guy who's always hurt. Jacob Hibbard, morning, Matt. Is it still a battle between Nuss and Daniels, or is Daniels pulled away? Look, they've got to be getting close to naming a starter. I've maintained that all along, that through 2 weeks in camp, you've got to name your starter. Thursday marks 2 weeks in camp. They have a scrimmage on Wednesday. That's my guess. Is after the scrimmage on Wednesday, we'll know. That's it, but I'm guessing. Bailey C., I'm officially an LSU alum. Graduated Friday. Congrats, Bailey C. That's awesome. Cheers. Welcome to the club. Forever LSU. Austin O'Quinn, Nuss was also playing under the worst OC in North America in that game. Okay. And Max Johnson played last year under the same OC and did fared well for himself. Leon Williams, I hate that Brennan isn't playing. I think he is good enough to play somewhere else. You can hate it, but he's got to want it. You can't want it for him, man. Brett DeGrow, it's sad that fate and circumstance stole from Myles Brennan. Hate that some people are crapping on the guy. He's a class act. He's a Tiger forever. Wish him the best. A reddish fish. Is Myles the most unlucky 5-year player at LSU? I pointed this out yesterday in AFR. I don't know how many of y'all actually paid attention to it, but You forget about Andre Anthony. Andre Anthony tore his ACL as senior in high school, so he redshirted. In his redshirt freshman season, tore his ACL again, missed that whole year. Came back and had COVID, right? You had the COVID season, and then we had the championship year where he was healthy. Then had the COVID season, came back for 2021, a sixth season at LSU, ready to finally pop off, go off. 3 games into the season, tears his ACL again, done for the year. Like, that's pretty stinking unlucky. That's a guy who actually came back for the 6th year and started to play in the 6th year and then had another season-ending injury. So, I think people will pay more attention to Myles, obviously, because more high-profile positions. But you just had the same thing with Andre Anthony. How much did Myles rob companies out of those NIL deals? Yeah, Mark, that's weak. Don't be a loser. Please don't come here and be a loser. Any company makes a determination and they got requisite value. Like, do you not realize yesterday the Myles Brennan walk-ons commercial got so much run on social media yesterday? That's worth it for walk-ons. Gamecoin, Myles Brennan's a Gamecoin athlete, and he did a great job as a Gamecoin ambassador. And I'm sure whenever the platform launches, he'll still create a fan token, an NFT. Why not? So, come on. Brett DeGrow, how about whiskey and wine with Scone and Myles? Well, hey, look, man, I can get T-Bob to invite him. I mean, why not? I mean, they're going to be related. He's marrying T-Bob's cousin. Caleb, your stream last night was fun. Dude saying they've watched hours of Jaden Daniels film. Yeah, if you're interested, go look at that's. I get set off at least once every time on Nightcap, and that's one that set me off last night. All right, we're almost done, y'all. Coming up on 8 o'clock, I got to get out to get Drew up and get him to school. Jared Pettijohn, man, unfortunate about Myles. Tons of respect for the kid. His dedication to LSU. Would have loved to see him play. Jared, I'll agree with that too. Like, it would have. I am definitely. There's a part of me that's definitely curious to see what a full 12-game schedule with Myles Brennan as the quarterback would have looked like. You know, we waited 6 years and never got to see it. Matt Lusto, the thing that's so tough for people about Myles is that it makes them face the painful reality of how unfair life can be. I wish the man well. So poetic. Jeff McKiffin. Where are we? Craig Straub. Yeah, I wanted to say congrats to Drew in school year. Last child started this year. He's a great kid. All right, Craig. Y'all have a great school year as well. Let's see. Reyes Bradley, if Jaden starts all season and returns next season, do we lose Nuss or Walker? You're not going to lose Walker. That much I'm very comfortable in saying. Nuss would be interesting, but I do not think Jaden Daniels is coming back next year regardless, y'all. He is going to be a one and done. That guy is going to be in the NFL next year regardless. Vernell, Pete, Stang just as injured. Oh, Werner. No, Pete Werner has not had season-ending injuries like Juan has had damn near every year, be it in Tampa, in San Fran, or in New Orleans. So, he played well as a rookie last year, and he's battling some stuff this offseason. Let's see if we get on the field. That's not a fair comp yet for now. Okay. Mark leaves a sour taste in my mouth on Brian Kelly if he planned to bring in a transfer quarterback from Arizona State all this time on Brennan after Brennan came back to play for him. Yeah, Mark, again, that's where it's important to have your facts straight. LSU didn't seek out Jaden Daniels. Brian Kelly spoke to this at the start of spring when we asked him about Jaden Daniels. Said Jaden Daniels reached out to LSU. When Daniels went into the portal, he reached out to LSU. Then they had a decision to make. Do we want to pursue him? And the answer was yes, because he is by far your most experienced quarterback now. Brian Kelly's obligation is to win football games. And he had a player that helped him win football games. I mean, were you upset that Ed Ogeron took Joe Burrow when Justin McMillan had waited his turn? Come on, that extends to any position where you take a transfer. Are you upset that they took Jark Bernard Converse and Sevin Banks and Mekhi Gardner this year when guys like Demarius McGee waited their turn and they were up? No, of course you don't, man. Are you upset that they took Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks when guys like Sage Ryan and Todd Harris and all these other guys have waited their turn? No, of course not. So it should be the same for quarterback. All right, I think we're just about done. Kenneth, Leon Williams, did Traquan get released? Not yet, but hopefully soon. All right, y'all, I got to bounce. It is 7:59, so going to go get Drew up, getting ready for school. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. You need an orthopedist, you go to Brock, need a roof, give us a shout at HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. All right, y'all, LSU Daily is already live. However you get your podcast, please go subscribe up to LSU Daily. I appreciate it greatly. And AFR3. All right, y'all, have a great day. Peace.